After the war with the Dalki, Earth's governments mandated that every individual was required to go to military school for 2 years. Although humans and the Dalki were currently in a period of peace, nobody believed it would last forever. The Dalki were not to be trusted. They desired to control creatures they believed were beneath them. Every day, Quinn heard news and rumors about how close the Dalki and humans were to another. It felt like a major altercation could break out at any moment. Quinn ran to the toilet before heading off with Sergeant Griff. His bladder felt like it was going to burst any second. He had drunk way too much water. Once he stepped out of his room, something strange happened. A new notification screen appeared before him.
Your body is being hit by direct sunlight. All stats will be halved while you are exposed to the sunlight.
Quinn's body felt extremely sluggish. He felt like someone who had just run a marathon. His arms and legs felt heavier than usual. There was nothing he could do about it. Quinn inspected his status. Sergeant Griff gave him a strange look for stopping suddenly.
Are you okay, boy?
The sergeant looked ready to apprehend Quinn if he tried to run. Teenagers would try to run away from military duty every year. It never worked. Quinn was not listening. He wasn't planning to escape. He was reading the status screen that no one else could see. It wasn't just his stats. His HP had also been reduced.
HP, 5 out of 5. Strength, 5 out of 5. Stamina, 5 out of 5. Agility, 5 out of 5.
What kind of drawback is this?
Quinn shouted in frustration.
Quinn.
The sergeant gave him a strange look. Another notification appeared before Quinn.
You have received a new quest. Daily quest. Avoid direct sunlight for 8 hours. Reward, 5 XP.
Quinn's mood lifted. He could just sleep through this quest. It was easy. If the system worked the same way it did in games, that would mean Quinn would level up once he reached 100 XP. That would mean better stats, too. The more daily quests Quinn got, the better it was for him.
What are you doing walking so slowly? The school will eat you alive if you carry on like that.
Sergeant Griff shouted. Quinn reached a large bus. When he entered, he noticed it was already full of students around his age. Sergeant Griff stood watching him. Quinn had not realized that the soldier had stopped. When he turned back to look at Griff, the sergeant looked like a stone statue. Quinn didn't recognize any of the students. They must have come from a different school. He felt relieved. Maybe the bullying would finally stop. Since nobody knew him, he had a chance to impress them. Maybe even make some friends. Quinn sat at the front, since it was the only seat available. The screen popped up in front of him as he sat down.
Stats have returned to normal.
Avoiding direct sunlight meant his stats returned to normal. His body felt reinvigorated once again. Well, it looks like only direct sunlight affects my stats. The students talked to each other in excitement. Sergeant Griff quickly shut them up.
All right, it's time for us to head to the military academy.
The bus jerked to life. The students were on their way. It was a quiet ride. Griff glared at anyone who tried to talk, prompting the students to shut their mouths. About 10 minutes into their journey, Quinn received another notification.
A substance in the air has been detected. You are feeling sleepy. Resistance +1.
Quinn found this message strange. He looked around the interior of the bus. Half of the students were already asleep. He tried to fight it, but his eyelids were getting heavier. Quinn felt dizzy.
Your resistance to the substance has increased. Resistance +1.
He heard footsteps coming towards him. Sergeant Griff hovered above him.
Looks like a few of you were able to resist the sleeping gas. Guess we'll just have to bag you.
Griff threw a black bag over Quinn's head. He couldn't see a thing. The gas slowly overpowered him. His hands fell limply by his side. Quinn dozed off. A splash of cold water woke Quinn up. He jolted upright. Green smoke dominated his surroundings. He and several other students lifted their heads to look around. 500 students stood on an open field. None of them recognized where they were.
This is where you will spend the next 2 years of your life.
Sergeant Griff explained. Behind the field, 3 futuristic buildings stretched into the air. The buildings looked like glass sculptures. Each stood at least 60 feet tall. Behind the buildings, Quinn saw a city unlike anything he had ever seen. It was a technological marvel. The buildings and vehicles were decades ahead of anything Quinn had seen. Mechs moved crates, enormous cranes rose high in the sky. The machines operated on their own, building new structures out of glass. Ships flew so close to the ground that Quinn feared they would crash into the high-rises. He didn't need to fear. The ships followed a particular path, avoiding the buildings. Trains rose high into the air, running on invisible rails. None of this technology had been made public. Humans had made leaps in technology after the war. Most of it came from salvaging Dalki technology left on the battlefield. The military kept most of it for themselves. The tech was too dangerous for public use. At least, that is what they claimed. Quinn finally managed to stop gawking at this new world he was entering. He felt a weight on his hand. Something had been placed around his wrist. A digital watch, yet the screen was blank.
Placed on your wrist is your lifeline. It will identify you as a student at this military base. It will allow you to access certain areas, pay for food, among other things. When not in use, the wristwatch will display your...
From the confusion on the other students' faces, he was sure he was not the only one. Quinn had hoped his life would change after coming to military school. However, it looked like it was going to be the same game, only in another place.
We will now begin testing your respective levels. Don't move until you are called forward. Understand?
Sergeant Griff shouted with a smile on his face. Everyone nodded. The sergeant looked even scarier when he smiled.
Good luck.
When abilities were first introduced,